So I did a video about a year ago where I talked about quitting my job and talked about the fact that DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub allowed me to continue getting the income that I needed while I didn't have a job. And I had somebody ask me how I felt about it today, and today I'm going to give you an answer. My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery. And today, I want to talk about a comment that a guy named Green Identity left on my video, the one here where I talked about quitting my job, and kind of tell them where I am today with it. I also had another guy, Brian Sellers, comment underneath Green Identities and kind of say the same thing. So I thought I'd throw a video together for you to kind of tell you where I am today and how I feel about things, and to see if I'm kind of in the same place I was in that video. One thing that I'd like to ask you to do, if you haven't yet, is please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So I'm going to start by putting his comment up here, and I'm going to read it to you guys. You guys can follow along, and then I kind of want to get into a conversation about what he said and kind of about where I am with things and let you know where I am today. So his comment says, and again, this is Green Identity. I want to say thank you so much for asking the question, Green Identity. I do a lot of videos where I talk to my subscribers and people that leave comments. So I really appreciate that you left me a comment and asked me where I am today. So here it goes. I realize this video is a year old, but felt compelled to leave a comment to see if you still feel this way about your gig work. I have been signed up as a driver for over a year now, but I have never been able to actually try it out yet. This is because I have a full-time job and no spare time. However, I am looking for a part-time work that will allow me to dip my toes into this. My major concern about this type of work is the lack of benefits and 401k. I am not married, and I have the benefits at my corporate job are really good as the 401k match. So I tend to lean towards staying with my job even though it drains me. So this was a comment by Green Identity, and I completely feel you, man. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with where you are at this point. So in my video here, I talked about the fact that I felt very liberated because I was able to walk away from a job. I had been working full-time for the same company for about 4.5 years, and through the COVID and the stuff that was happening back then, I ended up having to resign that position at that job. And I subsequently found another job at another company. And after working there for a week and a half, I knew that it wasn't going to be the job for me, and I didn't want to go in there. So I ended up stopping. And that morning when I stopped working at that company is when I did this video. And I had enough money coming in to take care of my income and pay for my expenses. I did it for 6 months before I got another job. So as I said in my video, I felt very liberated for being able to do that and make that choice for myself. And I was able to still get the money I needed to take care of my expenses, and then I ended up getting another job. So how do I feel about it today? And I want to start by saying that if I were to be in another situation like that, I would, in a heartbeat, stop doing what I was doing and going out there and doing food delivery. Food delivery for me is something that I can make enough income at to pay my bills and to take care of my family. And I could do it full time and even maybe work less than 40 hours and make enough money than I need to take care of all of my expenses. So as far as how I feel about it today, I still feel the same way. Everything is down. Green Identity, in your comment, you made a point about things being down, or Brian did. I don't remember which comment it was specifically in, but everything is down across the board. My W-2 job, my full-time job I have, is I sell freight. I sell freight from companies two carriers that are going to take it wherever it needs to go. And in my job there, we have been slow for the last 3 months. And when I say slow, I mean very, very slow. So as far as food delivery, yeah, I think that it is slow, slower than it should be this time of year. But understand everything across the board is slow, and it's going to be slow for a while now until we get through this, recession, or, might turn into a depression. Nobody really knows right now. But I really think that it's going to be slow for a long time in a lot of different places. Another thing I want to tell you too is my situation has changed a whole lot from where I was a year ago. Um, I don't know if you all remember back to when I first started doing my YouTube channel. I talked about the fact that my wife is here from the Philippines, and it took us a very long time for her to get her green card and, get her out there to be able to work. When I started doing food delivery, I did it because I wanted to make some extra money, because although my W-2 employer took care of paying my bills, I didn't have any extra money, and I needed to get my truck fixed. I needed to pay down some credit cards. I wanted to take my wife out on a date and buy some things that we wanted that weren't just bills. So I used food delivery as a means to get the money that I needed to be able to do those little extra things. And over time, it started evolving, and um, I was working full time. And as the inflation kicked in and things started getting a little bit tougher, I had to go out there and do food delivery sometimes, because I needed the extra money, because the prices of everything went up with the inflation. I use food delivery, and today the way I use it is this: is my wife is working full time now. I have a full-time W-2. I do my YouTube stuff, and I've got a couple of other ways that I make some semi-passive income and passive income. So with my wife working and me working full time, she's really compensated for what I needed to do doing food delivery. Up until August of this year, when she started working, I was literally working 70 to 80 hours a week. I did a couple of videos where I talked about it back then, but I was working 70 to 80 hours a week between my W-2 and food delivery and my YouTube channel. So I was just grinding it out as hard as I could just to make sure I took care of all of my bills. Today, it's a lot different. I don't have to work that hard at doing food delivery because of the income we have coming in now. So things are a lot lighter on me, and I don't have to work as hard as I did. So I still go out there and do food delivery because I enjoy it. I also do it because the money I make from that now is kind of being socked away and put into a savings account. So if I ever run into a bind again, I've got a little nest egg of money that I can take care of anything that I need to. So doing food delivery today is not quite the stress that it was on me back then, and it's much different now. So green identity, this is kind of where I am today. And I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit face to face and kind of tell you about what I think would what you said in your comment to me. The one thing that stood out to me, and you're contemplating doing food delivery instead of doing your W-2 job, and I really highly do not recommend it for you right now, my friend. And the reason this is because you made a comment in there that says that you've been signed up for the food delivery platforms for a year, and you've not gone out and done any of the deliveries yet. So I highly recommend to you that if you decide that you want to quit your W-2 job, especially with the good benefits and it being able to make the income that you need to do whatever it is that you do, I really recommend that before you even consider leaving that job, is you need to get yourself out there on the road and start and learn how to do food delivery. Because I've said it in a lot of my videos, but when I first started doing food delivery, I was probably making about $15 an hour, and that was it. And obviously that's not really good, especially in today's economy. Today, I make a lot more money because I've got, time under my belt. I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I also I'm coming up right at or just over 4,000 deliveries. So when I go out, especially as well as I know my marketplace after doing 4,000 deliveries in it, I can go out there and make the money that I need even when it is slower because I really know what I'm doing with food delivery. I know how the apps work in my marketplace, and I really understand to infinite degree how my marketplace works. So my suggestion to you is if you're thinking about doing food delivery and possibly turning it into your full-time thing, that's all good, and that's wonderful, and I recommend that you do that, but don't do it before you take a moment to get out there and start learning how the apps work in your marketplace and how your marketplace works. um, I don't know where you live. I don't know what type of marketplace it is, but no matter how big or how small that marketplace is, you really need to understand the fundamentals of how to make that $25 to $30 an hour before you decide to quit your job and go out and do it. That's my personal recommendation. If a friend was coming to me and said this is what I would tell them. Another comment that you made in my on that video was something to the effect about the benefits when it comes to doing food delivery and having a W-2 job. Your employer pays towards your 401k, and you probably have, I'm guessing, health insurance and maybe paid time off and that kind of stuff. As a food delivery driver, as a 1099 contractor on any of the apps that you can get on and get out here and make money, you are your own boss and you are not an employee to these apps at all. So before you decide on whether or not that food delivery can replace your W-2, I would really recommend, grabbing a pen and paper or getting on like an Excel spreadsheet. I use spreadsheets all the time, but really plot out where your expenses are and what you need to get health insurance and to be able to put away for retirement at the level that you want it to be at, on this spreadsheet or on this paper, and really plot out exactly what kind of money you need to be making to do that. You got to understand too, as a 1099 contractor, you can also set yourself up as a sole proprietorship, LLC. I wouldn't recommend a corporation, but you can actually set yourself up with a business like I have. And at the end of the year, I get to file a schedule, I believe it's a Schedule C with my um, 1040, so I can actually take a lot of what I do doing food delivery and put it onto that Schedule C, so it can really reduce my tax burden. So what you're thinking about losing with what you do for your retirement and for your health insurance, if you start a business and you actually have a legitimate business, you can counter a lot of the things that you're going to lose there with a tax reduction at the end of the year, so you get to end up putting more of that money back in your pocket. So I'd really, brainstorm and figure out the expenses and the income that you need before you decide to jump into this. And then also, I've said it in a couple other videos over the last couple of years, but you've really got to take a look at where you are with food delivery and what you can really make this day and apply to what the expenses are that you need to take care of. Because somebody out there that's making, let's say, $15 an hour compared to me that can make $25 to $30 an hour, it's going to look a lot different for them than it would for me, as far as figuring out where I can get the money for to pay my expenses. So you really want to take the time to do this and really understand your finances, and then you really want to take the time to learn and know how to do food delivery, so it's going to take care of all the expenses that you need. One of the things I'm going to recommend too is when you're starting doing food delivery, keep track of your numbers. I talk about it all the time in most every single one of my videos, and I'm going to throw my spreadsheet up here so you guys can check it out. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles. Head to the right and you'll see for each individual app, I put the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries. Look at the bottom then and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, and your average per order. If you're thinking about starting food delivery, green identity, you need to make sure that you keep track of your numbers so you can see where you are and see where you need to improve. I've done videos that talk about how my metric spreadsheet helped me improve when I was out there, but you really want to get out there and learn how to do this stuff before you take it on full time. Would also like to ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you really want to learn how to do food delivery, I have a lot of lessons in my food delivery playlists that are going to teach you what you need to know. If you want to learn specifically about multi-apping, a really good video that's been very popular for me out here is multi-apping like a pro. It's a 3-part series I put together. Go check it out. With that, I want to say I hope that you are out there getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.